Hello and welcome to Are You Not Entertained, where two film fans discuss their favorite flicks. I'm Daniel.
And I'm James.
And we are continuing on with our coverage of The Mandalorian. Now on...
Well, over the hump.
Over the hump. We are
Over the hump.
We are on Chapter 5, the episode The Gunslinger.
Yep, we're just now over halfway through. Kind of back to their formula a little bit. You know, back on a desert planet.
Yeah.
And the Western feel to it.
Well, yeah, definitely back to the bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Bounty hunting.
Yeah, this one, I don't know. I feel like I have a little less to say about it. It's kind of normal fare. It has its moments. Amy Sedaris in it is awesome. Ming-Na Wen, I love her. I was a huge fan of her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So there's some great points to this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of a run-of-the-mill. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because run-of-the-mill for Mandalorian is better than most shows out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
how'd you feel about
it? That's exactly what it is. It's kind of a run-of-the-mill. It's
episode 5 of 8.
Yeah. It starts with him getting shot up in space and having to land at the nearest planet.
Yeah.
Well, he gets shot up and then he does some shooting up of his own.
That's my line.
But he lands and he lands on the planet and his ship is damaged and he doesn't have any money to get it fixed. So he has to go find a job for money, right? He's a bounty hunter. That's what he does. Yeah. So in that sense, it is definitely run of the mill.
So he's just, it's, I don't know. I don't feel like there's a whole lot to say about the story itself. And by the way, spoilers, we spoil everything. It has that same formula of, ship's not working right. Got to land and find a place to fix it. Does so, needs money to do it, takes a job. Doesn't really care about the job other than to get the money. The guy ends up turning on him and gets the money from him so that he can pay off his bill. Like it's...
Yeah, he turns on him for for rep, basically.
Right.
So the guy was too chicken, too unskilled. He was fresh meat, trying to get sanctioned into the guild.
Yeah, he's a young kid
the
trying
Bounty
to
Hunters
get
Guild.
a name for himself.
Yeah, exactly. And just so happens that he and the Mandalorian cross paths. Otherwise, it looked like he was just going to sit there drinking.
Right, yeah. Like, if the Mandalorian hadn't showed up, what the hell were you planning on doing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. But they did. They bumped into each other, and he said, hey, I just need the bounty to get in. I don't need the money. I'm not doing it for the money. And so that's when the Mandalorian was like, cool, you're going to give me all the money. Let's go get her. And
absolutely.
That's what they did.
And it did have a very noticeable Star Wars-y feel to it. And I think that has a lot to do with the director. The director was Dave Filoni. He's known mostly for being a writer on a ton of the Star Wars animated series.
Oh, really?
From the Clone Wars to multiple seasons of Rebels to Resistance. He's been doing Star Wars stuff for a long time.
Nice.
Yeah. He was even a writer on Avatar.
Oh, okay.
The Last Airbender, the cartoon.
Ah, gotcha. Glad you said the cartoon.
Yeah. Yes, no, not Avatar James Cameron and not Avatar The Last Airbender M. Night Shyamalan.
Right.
The actual cartoon that was popular.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and I guess that makes sense then. Because it definitely did have that feel.
Yeah, and this was a very Star Wars-y episode.
Yeah. But still not a lot to it, honestly.
Yeah, I felt like this was a filler episode, which is fine. I think in an eight episode
There
season,
you go.
you get one or two filler episodes.
Yeah.
You know, if you're just running hard story all the way through 8 episodes, it starts to feel overwhelming. You know, this is the middle of the book tangent that gets you a little bit closer to the character and builds relationships. You know, he's got the bond with the child is a little bit deepened in this one, and Amy Sedaris's character is this kind of cool mechanic motherly figure, which is great. I loved her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It sucked that Ming-Na Wen's character died so quickly. Because I had like any investment in her character, but I love her as an actress so much that I was kind of hoping that maybe she stuck around and we got to see her again, either as an ally or as a long-term enemy or something.
Well, and that's kind of in the air too, isn't it? Because somebody came and picked her up at the end.
Well, somebody came and at least looked at her body. But
they picked her up.
I'm pretty sure she was dead.
Well, yeah. She seemed dead.
Yeah.
But what do I know?
And, well, also, when the Mando came back to her, if she wasn't dead, he would have just left her there.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
He would have picked her up for the bounty, at least.
Well, maybe.
Well, no,
he can't really.
The guild. Yeah, he can't turn her in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but at that point, he didn't absolutely know where his quote unquote partner was. Toro, I guess was his name. I don't know. I'm pretty sure she's dead.
She seemed dead. We'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
She seemed dead, but somebody came back and picked her up for whatever reason.
Right.
So questions to be answered there.
There's a veil of mystery.
Thank you for the cliffhanger.
Yeah. And you know, that's kind of what we're talking about in multiple episodes before, is that it has this episodic feel to it, but there is a through line. There is a grand story. It's not just 8 separate episodes that have no overarching story to them. Of course there is.
Yeah, they all tie together for sure.
But it keeps it simple. It's a quick scene at the very end of the episode that ties them together. You know, the last one was kind of like that. It was its own independent thing until the bounty hunter at the very end.
Right. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
This was kind of its own independent thing until whoever the mystery person turned over. Fennec, I guess was her name.
Yeah,
Ming-Na Wen's character.
Yeah, Fennec Shand.
Turned over Fennec's body, presumably. So, yeah, there's a larger mystery at hand, but it's not necessary to enjoy the 99% of the episode.
No, not at all. I think you were right. This was kind of a filler. I think that if it weren't kind of built how it is, which is how they're sort of standalone episodes. If it weren't built that way, then I would say no. You can't have a filler episode in an 8-episode season. Like you have to carry on the story. That would be like, as a reference, that would be like Breaking Bad just having some random filler episode.
Or Game of Thrones.
Or Game of Thrones just having a random filler episode. You're like, no, what is this? I think not. But since it's built the way it is, and that's how it's intended to be, is, you know, kind of these, it's an overarching theme across all of them, but each one has its own, like each episode has its own kind of story with the main theme in the background.
And it gives the audience a break. It's a pacing thing. Because, I mean, being released on Disney Plus, they did come out weekly, but I'm sure there's a ton of people who have just started to binge this recently who didn't have an opportunity to watch it before and now suddenly do.
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, so, you know, I think if you're binging 40-minute episodes, number 5 being a little bit of a relaxation of the brain in the overarching story is not a bad thing.
No, I'm not mad at it.
No, the only complaint that I have about it is the timing because, like we were saying, episode 4 had a little bit of a different feel to it, and then this one immediately goes back to it. It makes episode 4 feel a little bit more singular, or have a little bit more of a differentiator.
Right.
And so I kind of wish that they had gone to another place that was totally different, maybe like a water world or a tropical jungle or something like that, just to show that it was going to break up the monotony more than just a random episode in the middle of the season.
Right. Yeah. You go from sand world to sand world to sand world to, hey, farming to sand world.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so instead of it being an example of the variety we're going to get, it feels like it's an outlier. Yeah. Episode 4 was.
Right.
But that's really the smallest complaint that I have for, I think, any episode in this entire season. So that's a pretty weak one. So I'm definitely not upset. It was a good watch.
Yeah, well, and it does show that he is trying to kind of stay off the beaten path.
Yeah.
And so that is
now that
kind of what you'll
Sanctuary's not now that Sanctuary's not an option, it's a backroads kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
As much as galactic backroads can be a thing.
Right. Yeah.
But all right. Well, was there anything else you wanted to cover as far as what was the name of this episode? The Gunslinger?
The Gunslinger, yeah.
Anything else you wanted to cover in the Gunslinger?
I keep saying the Gunslinger.
Slinger.
Yeah. It's Slinger, but
Slinger. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Yeah, it was a good episode. So hopefully you enjoyed our review of the Gunslinger. If you did, join us next time, and please make sure you like and subscribe. Join us next time on Were You Not Entertained?